Okay, what we're going to talk about today is going to be completely counterintuitive to a lot of people. And if you are a high achiever, if you are out there doing your thing and working like crazy to get to your goals, if you are burning the candle at both ends because you know the benefit of putting the time in, you know the rewards that are going to come out in the long term, then what we're going to talk about today is not going to come naturally. In fact, you may put up resistance to it, but it's my job to tell you exactly why it is so important. And in fact, if you miss out on what we're talking about today, then you could be into serious problems down the road, and they may have the long-term effect on those very goals you're trying to achieve. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Maddie. Welcome to the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can stay tuned to the videos that I put out. These are all for you to help you live your best life, whatever that means to you. I learned this lesson through my athletic training. So you may know already, I was a classical ballet dancer. And so I trained in that profession for all my childhood. And I learned very early on the importance of rest. Now, any athlete will tell you this. And if you are an athlete yourself, or you are someone who engages in physical training of some kind to a fairly high level, then you will understand, you will know already that when you rest is when you get stronger. That you can work your muscles like crazy, but if you don't take those rest periods, you are not only not going to build the strength that you could have, but you're actually going to do damage. So it is the wrong way to go. You need to be taking rest, and most athletes will have in their training program those periods of rest. Now, what we need to know on a more universal level is that taking rest is important for everybody, and especially the people that are pushing themselves. So it may not be physically that you are pushing yourself. It may be mentally, it may be emotionally, it may be out there creating your business or going and making that organization, or maybe it is how you commit to your community or your family, and you are bringing your whole self to it 24/7 because you know how vital it is either to serve your goals or to serve your values, or both. If you're not taking that rest time, you could be heading towards burnout. That's number one concern. And if that is something that you are aware of, could be a possibility for you in your life, or maybe in the life of someone that you know and love, please do check out this video, because I will go into the key signifiers of burnout and what you need to look out for in case you are concerned about that for you. So check out that video. But the other reason why rest is so important is because it will allow us to bring our best self forward on a long-term basis. So you may think right now, and in fact, this is what I hear from a lot of high achievers, I've got to just go, 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 go. I'll take a rest when I've succeeded, when I've achieved those goals. Rest is for the losers. I'm an achiever. I'm a winner. I'm not going to rest. But actually, constructive rest is what is going to get you there. It is what is going to make the difference. And if you have been hitting a brick wall, then this is going to be really important for you. But also, if you are just going, and you've been doing it for 5-10 years, and you haven't taken the kinds of rests that I'm going to talk about today, so we are going to distinguish between different kinds of rest, then you may think you're bringing your best. You may think you're giving it your all, but you are in for a treat, because there are pools of you that you have not yet explored the depths of, and it's the rest that is going to get you there. So I mentioned a couple times there are different kinds of rest, and we will talk about that in a moment. But first, let me just tell you the 3 ways in which rest is going to help you. So number 1 is that rest will actually allow you to reflect. So it will allow you to absorb any of the lessons that you've learned, like in the previous day, but also in the previous month, in the years that you've lived up to now. When we rest, our body naturally takes in the information that we have gained and lets it settle into the psyche, into our brain, into our narrative, so that we can use it moving forward. Now, you may already engage in certain reflection practices like meditation or journaling, and that's fantastic. And you'll find that those opportunities actually give you points of rest reference. But why we can't bring this under the kind of label of rest is because rest can take on lots of different forms, but the importance of it is giving yourself that chance to reflect. We have so many experiences throughout every day, and especially if you are burning the candle at both ends and you are fitting as much as you can into every day, there is definitely things that are going unnoticed by you. And it's not till you take that downtime that you will begin to absorb those lessons. And when you've absorbed those lessons, then you are bringing the knowledge that you've gained into the next experience, the next opportunity, the next challenge that you face. You will have this wealth of information within you settled because you've taken the time to rest, and then it'll be there to whip out so that you can move through it with greater success. The next reason that it is so important to take rest is that it allows you to focus on the big picture and the goals out ahead of you. Now, again, you may be saying, no, I do that all the time. I'm always looking at my goals and clarifying, which is fantastic. And by the way, you're ahead of the game if you're already doing that. But it is through rest that we allow ourselves to daydream a little bit and to kind of go a little bit further. We go beyond the scope of just these are my 3 short-term, medium-term, long-term goals. We kind of allow ourselves to take the foot off the gas and go, okay, well, what is it that I'm working towards? We take those blinkers off and we can really see that big picture. And we can see it from a place of calm presence. What I mean by that is that when we are doing our kind of tick list, am I clarifying my goals? Have I looked at where I am in relationship to my goals over in the last month or whatever it is? However, whatever your process is, and if you haven't got a process, do engage in one and check out the resources below if you need support in that area. But we need to look at it from a calmer place, a place where we are settled in ourselves and we are able to see the full scope of what it is we're working towards. It also means that we generally are able to incorporate all the areas of our life. So if you are someone who is very work-focused or career-focused or business-focused, taking that period of rest will allow the other influences in your life, your relationships, your personal well-being, your lifestyle choices to be a part of that big picture. And that comes through rest. The final key reason why rest is so important is because it is through rest that we are able to access our creative self. And when we are able to access our creative self and develop our creative self, that's when we start to see solutions to problems that we have been struggling with, or we start to see new routes to get to our goals, or we start to make connections that we hadn't made before. And by taking that rest time, you are taking the pressure off a little bit by its very nature, and then your creative self gets time to flex its muscles. And creativity is one of my 5 pillars of success, one of the things that is going to be the key difference between you and everybody else, the thing that you bring to the table that is going to make the difference in your life, that is going to help you achieve those goals. Creativity is so key in being able to access your best self and live the kind of life that you want to live and achieve the goals you want to achieve, because it is the kind of intangible, right? Like it's the thing that no one else can give you. Your creativity is what you bring that is completely unique. And when you're out there trying to achieve your goals, it is your uniqueness that is going to make the big difference and is going to help you to reach the kind of success that you really, truly deserve. So those are the 3 reasons why rest is so important. But I did say I wanted to talk a little bit about the kinds of rest. Now, the key thing here is that we are talking about rest on a daily basis, rest on a weekly basis, rest on a monthly basis, and rest on a yearly basis. And you want to be incorporating all of that. So it's not really enough to say, it's okay, I take a 2-week holiday every year. Fantastic, excellent. That is prioritizing a break, a rest, a time where you are kind of letting yourself go or letting yourself be off radar, whatever it is, whatever that means for you. But that's actually not going to make the difference, because you need to be incorporating rest, as I said, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, as well as on that yearly basis. Or for you, it may be the other way around. You may take time every day to have a period of rest, but you never take time off in a bigger sense. Again, you need to be able to incorporate all of those periods of rest, and the amount of rest period will change depending on what time period we're talking about. So you're going to take on a daily basis, I'm talking about like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of rest time, concentrated, productive rest time. Is that an oxymoron? It's actually not. What I mean is that you have to actively be resting. It's not about just, oh yeah, I crashed out in front of the TV for 2 hours, so that was my rest for the day. No, you have to carve out space where you can say, okay, this is my period of rest. This is where I switch off all my devices, where if I'm engaging in a relationship, in a conversation with someone, it is about the resting period. So maybe it's about reflecting with that other person. Whatever you need in order to fulfill that rest mandate, you actively choose the time, which is why I'm saying it only needs to be 5 or 10 minutes. And maybe that will be journaling. Maybe it will be a period of mindfulness. Maybe it will be breathing exercises, or maybe it will be reading. Right? Sitting down with a novel, for example, or it will be something else where you decide, this is my rest period. This is time for me to settle inside myself, for me to shut out the noises, the other distractions, and just to be with myself, because that's when you're going to get all those benefits, the reflection, the big picture view, and your creativity. You need to make sure that your rest is not including some of those distractions that I just said we need to shut out. So I mentioned binging in front of the TV is never going to be your active rest period. So don't consider that it is. Also, scrolling your phone or going on social media is not active rest time. You're not going to get the benefits that I talked about if that's what you're considering rest. Rest is also not when you go to sleep at night, okay? So it's not like, no, I'm going to bed now, so I'm resting. Physically, yes, and mentally, yes, we know how important sleep is, but that's not what I'm talking about here. You need to make sure that you are carving out space and time for your active rest. Why? Okay, reminder, so that you can reflect on the lessons that you've learned, so that you can use that information going forward, so that you can keep your big picture in mind and be able to see how that big picture is shifting and pivoting and morphing as you carry on your journey, and so that you can engage in your most creative self, develop the strength of your creativity, so that you're able to shift the dial and have the big success that you are striving for. If this video has been helpful for you today, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and also that little bell icon so that you can always be made aware when new videos come out. I'll see you again real soon.